Before Spotify, how people listened to music and how artists earned money were very different. But then Spotify came along and changed everything. It completely transformed the music industry, changing how we listen to music and how artists make money. Today, Spotify reigns as the dominant force in the music streaming realm, boasting the largest market share and cementing its status as the most popular music streaming service. But how did Spotify come to be? And what's the backstory behind Spotify's meteoric rise? The story of Spotify starts in 1999 with a young man named Daniel Ek, who was 18 at the time, living in Sweden with his family. His parents began noticing something unusual. Daniel kept bringing home expensive TVs and computers. They wondered where he was getting the money and if he was involved in something illegal. However, Daniel's activities were quite legitimate. Around 1994, he discovered the potential of creating websites for the internet and started a small home-based business. Initially, charging $100 for a website, he soon realized he could charge more as demand increased. Eventually, he was earning up to $5,000 per website. To expand his business, Daniel enlisted classmates from his computing class, enticing them with promises of video games. This move proved successful, and his earnings reached $50,000 per month by the time he was 18, managing a team of 25 individuals. It wasn't until he started bringing home large TVs that his parents became aware of his financial success. As time went on, the internet witnessed a surge in illegal music downloading, notably through platforms like Napster. This posed a significant challenge to major music industry players like Sony and Universal, who faced substantial revenue losses. Although Napster was widely used, it faced criticism from the music industry and legal authorities, leading to its eventual shutdown. After Napster's closure in 2001 due to legal disputes over copyright violations, several other illegal platforms like LimeWire, Kazaa, eDonkey 2000, and Morpheus emerged. Daniel, observing this trend, found his mind racing with ideas, laying the groundwork for what would become Spotify. Reflecting on this period in a later interview, he remarked, "You can never legislate against piracy. Laws can definitely help, but that doesn't solve the problem. The only way to solve the problem was to create a better service than piracy, and at the same time, compensate the music industry." This realization served as the cornerstone for Spotify, though it would take a few more years to materialize. Following his ventures with other companies and serving as the CEO of uTorrent until 2006, Daniel Ek found himself financially comfortable enough to consider retirement. However, his entrepreneurial drive propelled him forward. During his entrepreneurial endeavors, Daniel crossed paths with Martin Lorenzon, whom he met after selling his startup, at Vertigo, to Martin. Both men found themselves at a crossroad, having amassed unexpected wealth but lacking a clear sense of purpose. In 2006, while residing in a flat in Stockholm, Sweden, Daniel and Martin brainstormed ideas. They frequently listened to music on their multimedia computer, but the experience was far from satisfactory. The frustration of not being able to spontaneously play any track they desired fueled their discussions. Then, a dormant idea sprang to life in Daniel's mind. Recalling the moment, Daniel shared, "We pretty much spent all of the autumn discussing a ton of ideas. I remember, however, that we sat around my media machine quite a lot and thought it was cumbersome to get content despite the technology having been around since at least 2000. I think that's why we got stuck on the idea of Spotify." As they mulled over their idea, the founders faced the challenge of naming their creation. Fortunately, the name Spotify emerged during a spontaneous exchange between Daniel and Martin. While seated in different rooms one day, they tossed around various naming ideas, shouting them back and forth. In a moment of miscommunication, Martin shouted a brand name to Daniel, which was misheard by the latter as Spotify. Intrigued by the unfamiliar yet catchy sound, Daniel quickly searched for it online. Finding no matches or hits on Google, they promptly registered the name for their company. Looking back, they found logic in the name. Spotify, after all, is primarily a tool for spotlighting and identifying songs as chosen by its users. Meanwhile, the music landscape of 2006 presented a unique set of challenges. The music industry was grappling with declining sales of physical media like CDs, with revenue plummeting from $25.2 billion in 1999 to just $19.4 billion by 2006. Amidst these challenges, the brilliance of Spotify's idea shone through. On one end were illegal services like Napster, immensely popular but operating out of the bounds of the law. On the other end were legal services like Apple's iTunes, selling songs individually at prices as high as $2 per track. Spotify aimed to occupy the vast space between these extremes, offering a better music listening experience in terms of both quality and cost. The engineering team worked tirelessly to develop a functional prototype swiftly. Daniel was particularly fixated on ensuring Spotify was lightweight and ultra-responsive. They set a strict limit of 250 milliseconds for any delay, aiming to give users the sensation of having every song ever recorded right at their fingertips. The goal was to make Spotify so compelling that users would gladly pay $10 a month despite the availability of free music downloads through torrents. However, Spotify encountered hurdles along the way. One major challenge in its early days was securing licensing agreements with record labels. Negotiations with major labels proved intricate and prolonged, as the music industry initially hesitated to embrace streaming services. Despite years of cash burn in pursuit of these licenses, Spotify persisted. Instead of aiming for global rights, which would have been prohibitively expensive, Spotify focused on Europe. Although Daniel faced skepticism from label executives initially, their doubts vanished when they witnessed the product firsthand. Ironically, it was a custom build of the program loaded with pirated tracks that ultimately convinced the record labels to come on board. Despite the illicit content, the interface impressed, prompting record labels struggling with declining sales to collaborate with Spotify. Spotify officially launched its service on October 7, 2008, initially rolling out by invitation only in Scandinavia, France, and Spain. The following year, in 2009, it began offering free and limited access to its services in the United Kingdom. As Spotify gained traction, rumors swirled about its competition with iTunes, especially after the release of a desktop music manager in 2010. But negotiations for international music licensing posed challenges, particularly for a US release. Major American labels like EMI, Sony, Universal, and Warner Music pushed for a paid subscription model for the outset, rather than the freemium model preferred by Spotify. Realizing the critical importance of securing deals with these labels, Daniel Ek offered them a majority share in Spotify stock. Spotify secured a $100 million investment and enlisted Sean Parker, co-founder of Napster, to foster relationships with major labels. The result was remarkable. Within the first year in the US, Spotify amassed 1 million paying users, swiftly becoming one of the most popular streaming services in the country. As Spotify continued its expansion, the creators encountered an unexpected challenge: the rapid ascent of smartphones. Initially slow to develop an app, Spotify faced potential setbacks. However, in 2012, they pivoted by launching their service on Android smartphones, a move that proved pivotal in saving the company from potential ruin. In the same year, Spotify introduced a web player that required no installation, catering to users who preferred browser-based access. Additionally, they unveiled the Spotify Play button, enabling users to embed a music player directly into websites. This innovation allowed visitors to listen to specific playlists, albums, or songs without navigating away from the page. The following year, 2013, Spotify debuted Discover Weekly, a personalized playlist updated weekly based on users' listening habits, quickly becoming a beloved feature. In 2015, Spotify underwent a significant update and rebranding, unveiling a new homepage named Home, which provided users with recommended songs. In 2016, Spotify introduced Daily Mix, a series of endlessly playing playlists blending users' favorite songs with new and recommended ones. Additionally, they launched Spotify Wrapped, a viral marketing campaign allowing users to view a compilation of their platform activities over the past year, and share this data on social networks. By the end of 2016, Spotify amassed over 100 million total users worldwide, with 40 million paying subscribers. In a historic move in 2018, Spotify became the first major music streaming service to go public, opting for a direct listing on the New York Stock Exchange. Over the years, recognizing the surging popularity of podcasts, Spotify took proactive steps to incorporate them into its platform. In 2019, the company made substantial investments into podcasting, acquiring podcast networks and securing exclusive rights to popular podcasts. Notable acquisitions include Gimlet Media, The Ringer, Anchor Pods, and Megaphone. By catering to both the demand and supply sides of the podcasting industry, Spotify sought to accelerate its market share growth, a strategy that has proven successful. However, Spotify has faced its fair share of challenges, chief among them being opposition from many artists who view the platform as an unwanted intermediary. Some artists argue that the payouts from Spotify are insufficient, while others feel that the platform does not adequately support emerging talent. Taylor Swift was one of the first high-profile artists to publicly criticize Spotify, citing low artist payouts and labeling the platform as an experiment. She removed her music from the platform for 3 years before eventually reinstating it. Similar moves have been made by other artists, although they often return to Spotify due to its unparalleled reach and influence. This underscores the platform's dominant position in the music streaming landscape. For artists looking to gain visibility and earn a decent income, Spotify has become an essential platform to be on. Today, Spotify boasts an impressive user base of over 602 million monthly active users, with a substantial 236 million paying subscribers. With a catalog spanning over 100 million songs, Spotify has fundamentally transformed the way music is consumed. The Spotify story is truly remarkable. It all began with a couple of ambitious individuals who dared to pursue their ideas relentlessly. Love it or hate it, Spotify has completely disrupted the music industry landscape, becoming an indispensable factor for achieving musical success. Please feel free to share your thoughts on Spotify in the comment section below, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more videos like this in the future.